So we will be fighting over Southern Approach. In this rule set, you can use all of the E and F columns. So we'll likely see a lot of flanks coming from center point, like you have the high ground. You can easily make your way down, gives you pretty good height advantage and a pretty good flank. Especially when you look at where it is on the map. Southern Approach is quite to the north side, northeast, so you don't really have much of a southern flank. It's a bit concealed just because of how much lower down it is, but we'll see if it actually gets used. Because of how far away it is, it's probably not unreasonable to see pushes through there. But I think the main flanking routes are going to be coming from the north, northeast, instead from the south, southwest. This is Hurricane Forest, which means SL 400, which means it's a forest map. So like all forest maps, you have to play this slow. You don't have a lot of cover, but there's both a lot of cover and not a lot of cover. There's trees everywhere, which both block your vision and make moving targets really easy to see. You just kind of have to play these slow.
The south end of Southern Approach.
It's literally all about playing it slow. If you're lying down near one of the trees, it's really difficult to spot you. If you're moving around, you're really easy to see because you're going to see them moving against the trees. There's not a lot of cover. You got plenty of these roads, which you don't really have tanking, so they're not super important in this mode. But they're areas where there's breaks in the visibility. As you can see on the map, where people are coming from. Mainly just going all along the roads at the start. We do have a secondary truck just for getting Gary's up. As you see, they're going to the north. We'll see where the enemy's deciding to come from. So we got a supply truck here. Getting Gary here. So it gives you quite a good midpoint. See if I can find. Oh, there we are. See, they're hopping out, and this is just above the point. They're already reaching the midpoint. It's gonna be interesting when the Americans finally get here. They're gonna be facing against someone they're already getting dug in. But this is not your standard 18v18 rules. There's a lot that's fair game. Satchels, mines. It's all stuff I can use. They haven't capped it yet, but I don't think SOF is going to be to stop them at this point. Take a look at the map. We do have a northern flank, but it's only about 3 people. They're already behind like their most concentrated area. It's just a squad leader. It's not like an MG set. Sorry, it's the Germans as SOF. Unfortunately, admin cam is best in this map because the trees seem to be blocking the nameplates. There's also little blips. Dracon was able to push back here. Got traded. See if the senior. Ooh. Senior's able to snipe. So the Capio that are addressing that flank. Is he going to notice that OP? He clears that OP. He's got about 20 seconds to get there.
MG on my infantry mark.
We'll see if he's able to destroy it in time. Looks like he's just going for grenade. Grenades do blow up stat.
Hey guys, we need to get OPs down.
You saw that got destroyed there. I don't know how that didn't kill both of them.
Yeah, mine just went down, but I'll get a new one up to her.
But we have Senior behind. We'll see if that causes trouble as he is approaching the trench line. He is completely surrounded though, so you can see Sergeant Robert and his Lieutenant Rob are all approaching behind Senior. They seem to not continue to approach. We'll see if looks like he has the drop on point. Does get taken out. But he has taken out that OP.
The north end's pretty clear. We hold Hill 400 pretty good. We're gonna try to
Gotcha.
move down from IOP.
Charlie's still gonna hold the south end of it. Push it.
Unless they start flanking up.
See, they are. Most of our team is approaching from the south. Looks like we're going for a pretty deep flank. Although in this rule set you can go above head height, the nature of the
I have
map
a decent
just means
OP
that
if anybody wants a
there's like hedgerows to get up on.
over here.
There aren't any buildings, at least not in the center columns. Over there are, but not here. See, we have a large concentration of some cab guys defending along that trench line. They have the height advantage, but they're still pretty visible. It's hard to push on a map like this. Forest maps, you always have to be playing much slower.
OP on my able mark.
Because if you're running and the enemy is not, they're pretty much always going to spot you and kill you. And it's really hard to spot someone when they're just lying on the ground. You can see an engagement here. Dews and West there.
Give me supply truck on Charlie, light vehicle mark.
They were just lying down. They cannot approach each other. But looks like we're getting that northern flank going. We are starting to have a decent number of people on that flank. So we'll see how that goes. We do not know if that's going to be successful. It looks like it might be, although South Cap is starting to move back up north to respond to that challenge. We do have them pretty well surrounded, but our forces are not concentrated.
There's a possibility on my mark.
We have these flanks, like we got Dracon right here on the back lines, but he's the only one close. So they have their forces very, very concentrated. It's very tough to push, simply because they're going to be overwhelmed with firepower. You can easily move around them because they don't have a large flank. Now they're starting to have a bit of a flank on the southern side.
Enemy OP directly on my mark.
So we're going to have less control of our flanks, but they're also going to be less concentrated on the point. And I think that could be really good for us. Looks like they're mainly coming from the south, from Gary. I think their OPs got destroyed, would be my guess. What happened there? We're getting into the point. We're not able to capitalize on it. We were capping there. Let's see. We are getting into the strong point, but we are not currently capped. Got this bunker here. If we could get an MG set up there, we could absolutely be controlling this road. Bunkers can be a bit of a double-edged sword in this, because unlike real life, you have this huge window that you can be seen through, and it's pretty easy to accurately aim. But an MG is still terrifying if you got someone there watching that road, especially since you're not going to see a tank rolling down the road. So those roads are huge breaks in the tree line, which makes it great for MGs.
We have a satchel down the middle of the point.
If you just hear that, we have a satchel
Copy
down.
that.
Satchels are allowed in this rule set, and I think in a game like this where you see how concentrated the enemy is, satchels are wonderful. I don't know if that was ours or if that was the enemy's. I don't know if that actually took out any enemies. We'd have to go back in the video and see that. But if you could get a satchel there, look how concentrated. Satchels kill anyone within 25 meters of them. That's a huge area. There's just a huge area where someone could get destroyed. You could get a satchel in that bunker there, and then if they're holding that center area,
Second guess is finally out.
they're gonna be dead.
Thank you.
We did finally get a second garrison. If you heard that, in this mode, you build the Garys. They can be destroyed. If you get destroyed, you have to rebuild them. And that can be a pain. Almost halfway through this. I'm not sure if we can see where the garrison is here.
Just a reminder, the satchel is on my defend mark, on able defend mark. That's where the satchel is.
Okay, so yeah, that's where the satchel is. That wasn't ours. It looks like it's gonna take. It took 2 people out there.
Satchel has gone off. It is no longer there.
That's could be more. Could be this area.
Whoever the
where
south
there's a lot
squad is,
more
you got enemies coming
concentrated.
in from the south.
But
Yeah, can we fill the hole?
Satchels are
Or-
powerful. Those were 2
There's
kills
a
that
pretty big
no
hole
one
on
had to
that
be there
southeast side.
afterwards. I would definitely try and get satchels in this
Also, we
area
do
over
have an
here.
enemy OP
That's where
on
the enemy tends to
mark I just put up.
tending to be
Still on the
concentrated
radar.
in
Gotcha.
this match.
Okay.
Wonderful thing about trees, you can just stick a satchel
Yeah,
right
a bunch
on
of
your
them spawned
tree.
there and killed me when I was on the point.
I mean, you can just put it on the ground anyway, but if they're holding this area here, that's a pretty good place to put a satchel. Obviously, they don't get the bird's eye view. They don't know where all the enemies are. So they kind of have to just deal with it. You can see Dracon Senior and its robot are getting a flank. See what its robot does with the MG. MGs are pretty powerful in forest maps because, as we said before, you have to play them slow. You want to be kind of just lying prone, ready for the enemy, because if you're running, you're going to get caught dead. And that's how you have to play MGs anyway. And MGs are already incredibly powerful tools. So when you have the chance to set up as an MG in a forest map,
Yeah, let's try to
you can easily
on the point.
be ready for an ambush. You're already going to be playing that way, so the penalties of the MG aren't so bad. There are a lot of trees to absorb some of your bullets, but that's just going to happen sometimes. They're getting pretty spread out. So you have this concentration at the point, concentration a bit to the south. Look, I think we're taking out OPs, is my guess. I do have the command a little low to hear what's going on. Of course, I'm not in the Discord, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But they are managing this flank to the south. We have a line, so they're not able to push against our flank, but we're not really pushing against them. I think that's okay. Unfortunately, this is very wide, so you can just go farther south and be on the flank. We'll see if Bizcut gets killed. Doesn't look like it. Not sure if he's gonna start to head north at some point. But in this mode, garrisons can be destroyed.
Aurora,
That's something
near
we
your
might
attack
want to
mark,
look
they
at
have an OP.
in this rule set, because taking out that garrison
I destroyed the
is
OP
very,
on
very
your
powerful, because if you
mark,
destroy a squad's OP, now that whole squad has to spawn back at that garrison.
I just enemy
Swapping
flank
is
my OP
allowed
to the south
in this rule set. At least there's no prohibition against it. So it's not as powerful taking down an OP, or it's not as punishing as it is in other rule sets. And of course,
Does anyone know where these explosions are coming from on the south
you have
side?
much more,
Or just like
much more
blow up?
flank.
Yeah, my squad just got
mines.
the RP's gone.
They've been putting a lot of mines down.
But it would be very good to look into trying to take out their garrisons, because you kind of know where they're going to be, because you can't build them
2-1
in
on
the middle
point,
sectors.
putting my OP directly
You
on
can
point.
just go along the D line. It's like dealing with nodes. You just go there, get an AT guy, just shoot a rocket at it, and now they either have to spend some of the limited time, you only have 30 minutes, to go back and rebuild that, or they just don't have an area to spawn there. And of course, because of squad swapping, having to spawn back at the garrison is punishing. You can just swap people out, have the squad leader try and go and re-establish an OP, try and sneak around. But it's still great to burn an OP.
RP's hot.
It does.
They're pushing up the hill on me.
It does really punish the enemy, and if you've burned their garrison, now they're going to be spawning from one area of the map until they get a new one up. As you can see, we now have control of the midpoint. I wasn't paying too much attention to what was going on, but if I had to guess, it would be that northern flank. The southern flank was being
Near my
managed by
infantry
the
mark is where
enemy.
they're coming from.
now we have control of the northern flank, or at least we did. But now we have control of the point. See if we can hold it. You kind of have a bit of an advantage defending.
Guys, if you
It's
guys
not
want to
full-
take your
it's not
guys'
full,
like
MG
one
there,
squad
just an
flank up
SMG.
north.
Um,
North is pretty secure.
We do have control of the midpoint.
Looks like most
now.
of them are coming in from
so
the
as long as we can hold on for the
southwest,
next
like again, like I
8
said.
minutes, we're good. There is overtime, I believe, in this rule set. We'll see if that comes up. But as long as we don't lose our flanks, I think we can hold this. As we said before, you have to play slow on a forest map, and that means that if you're dug in, you kind of have an advantage because you're not going to be running around. You still don't want to just sit in one place when you're defending, because that's a good way to lose and hell let loose. You have to be managing their OPs and burning them. But you can, as defenders, you can afford a slower play style, especially with MGs. You can just have part of your forces, a lot of your MGs, just sit back, wait for them to come to you,
Looks like they're trying to flank up north.
and have the rest
Yeah,
of
that's
you
what I was about to
be
say.
south
We've
of
got
the-
enemy moving up through.
deal with it. See,
Hill
he's
400.
here. Looks like he's hip firing that MG, so it's not a great example of what I'm talking about. But as you can see, kind of here from the view,
Enemy OP on my mark south. We're taking it out now.
we have a pretty good line. We control a good chunk of the southern flank. We control the point. We even control the northern flank, and we're pushing them back. Let's see where on the map this is. This is approximately the enemy line, so they're pretty pushed
make sure we keep
pushed
our
pretty
line
far
up,
back.
guys.
They're a bit closer on the southern flank. It's kind of a bit of a diagonal, but we're managing that flank.
Baker squad.
We're keeping them engaged. They can still just go very, very far south, but you have limited time. I believe vehicles are allowed in this rule set, so you could get a
so again,
vehicle to
clear north.
help with that flank. But
We
you
gotta
can't
let
get a
it, like,
garrison
bit
back
in the
there. It's just going to
southwest
be
of point.
your squad. So you can get a squad leader to get your OP behind them, or you can get someone go back and try and destroy their garrison. But those really, really deep flanks don't always pay off. It's hard for them to pay off. Of course, the reason why you're doing them is if you can't get a closer flank, which is kind of, I think, what's going to happen here. We have a really good line. You can see it's more of like a curve, but they kind of have to be concentrated here. If you remember from we were flying around earlier, they're going to have their garrison somewhere here. So they're going to be coming out in this direction, and they're just going to be hit by the flank. I don't know where their northern Gary is. They must have one. I don't see why they wouldn't, especially since they have been spawning from this area.
Hey, tell your guys to start fucking pushing them up. Push them up to the wind.
Good with that.
Push-
we
Push
have
up to the
advantage.
fucking line.
I don't know how many OPs they have left. If they
Hold 'em at
have
the
any
line.
OPs, but when you're in that advantage state and they don't have, and you burn their OPs, in this mode, in 18v18s, you know that they're gonna have to be spawning from back there. And if you're burning enough of them and they're not squad swapping, you have a huge advantage to push them up. As you said,
yeah, they're coming
pushing
in
can
from
be
the
a little
south.
hard on
Yeah, around my
forest
OP
maps.
There's
You
no
have to
place
take
from
it
the
a bit
northwest.
slower. But if you can get dug in, it's harder. It's a lot harder for them to push you. And we're in this advantage state. We don't have anyone in the hard point because we don't need to. I guess you might want to have one just so that they don't start contesting. But as long as you're killing them enough, it shouldn't be a problem. They are pushing the southern flank, so we're kind of curling farther back here. But we're keeping them far away from southern approach. If they want to get there, they come from the northern flank. And that looks like what they're doing. We're a little too far away to see that.
Are they still coming in from the northeast?
Yeah, they're coming from dogs, towards dog outpost.
That would be the northeast. One thing is we have this big line here, so we don't have a lot of people on the point, which is great until they begin to
Careful,
flank.
Proxy, there's a guy with a bar just on the other side of the rock.
I hope
I think I
that
got him.
doesn't come back to bite us. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It cannot get much higher.
Yep,
The
get to
ceiling
that.
is pretty low because of the elevation. But we have enemies right on our tail. They don't know where their OP is exactly.
My OP mark is accurate. We're about to take it down.
Looks like it's
Okay.
right here.
OP is down on my mark.
That's kind of what you have to
Able
do
OP
in
just
this
lit up.
rule set. You have to, if you're pushed back, you have to go for those wide flanks.
Proxy, you just lost your OP.
And
They're
suffer the
behind us.
consequences that they might not pay off. But in this instance, it is paying off. They have a full squad behind us. They're not quite capping yet.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
OP is hot south, Charlie.
But is there overtime in this? If
Uh,
they're capping?
Yeah, so if there is some form of contention, there will be like kind of like a extended time. But I'll make the call for you, so don't stress. And then as soon
Alright.
as I make the call, I'm gonna flip the map.
All right.
Copy.
So as you can hear, we do have overtime. So they haven't quite lost it.
Yeah, so this is contention, so it's gonna continue on.
All right.
2-1 in the point.
I think we need to push back east and stop.
Yeah, we need to
So-
pull back into the point.
As you can see, saying pull back. And I 100% agree. When you're that close to the end, and you just need to make sure that they don't contest. You, as good as it is to be on the flanks here and pushing them far back, you kind of have to just collapse back on the point and make sure that they don't start contesting.
Everybody
You can
fall
see
back to
they
point.
have quite a bit of
As
people
long as we
behind us.
Hold this.
Um, So they did get around the flank.
They came from the east.
I guess I probably shouldn't have said that
They
deep
left
flanks
to
are
the southeast right
are
now.
tough to pay off. Given they got two that really paid off. They take time to pay off, I guess I should say. It definitely took them a while to establish something. They're safer, but they take time. But it looks like we're pushing back.
Still in contention. Stand by.
Near my body, there's an OP.
All right.
Index.
Index.
Nice.
So we
Yeah, good job, y'all.
won first round. I think one thing we got to be applying more of the rule set to our advantage. Sound like they were using a lot of mines. We could definitely be using more mines, especially in these trench lines right on the point, because those are areas that they're going to concentrate on, It's a little hard to put mines just randomly in the forest. You still might get the kill, but it can be a bit of a crapshoot. Satchels, we could obviously be using them more. I think we're still using them to great effect. But that comes down to knowing where the enemy is, knowing where they're going to push, or just placing it down on a long timer and falling back. Kind of let them walk into the trap. Building is something that is allowed in this rule set. I think we could have definitely built on that point once we had it. There just wasn't really a point in this instance. It's hard to build on a forest map for two reasons. You have lots of trees blocking, lots of rocks, lots of things that can block the ability to actually place something down. It's going to be very, very finicky, and a lot of the building stuff, you're
this is
using
gonna
a
be
lot.
a fun one. I haven't seen flak pits before.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting being on the entirely other side of the map.
I was really
Last
wanting
time
to
we
see
were
Hill
doing the
400.
18v18, it was like a battery twice.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for this.
It's definitely going to be interesting. So when you're building stuff, you're trying to usually play into the map geography itself. You're placing barbed wire at
Lots
natural
of
choke
DCs,
points.
Jenkins.
You're placing... Sorry, can you repeat that?
We gotten a lot of DCs, but he knows about it.
Do you want me to pass the message on, or it sounds like they know about it from what you said? Okay, some DCs. That's a little concerning. We'll see if that sorts itself out. You're building around the map geometry, using that to your advantage. On forest maps, it's a little hard because it's mostly trees. There's not like a lot of buildings, a lot of hedgerows to build on. You can still use like barriers to great effect because you're now creating new cover, but it's very, very different from how you use it. You're not playing into what you have. You're trying to create something entirely new. Take a look at the point itself right now. It's flak pits. So we're on the other side. You're still going to have a lot of people trying to get to like Hill 400 and moving down the hill. I think this one's a lot steeper. If I remember correctly. There's certainly a lot less cover. If you have this hill right here, perfect to toss nades down into this area. You don't have like the same bunker. Probably can get some OPs by this flat gun. The south, similarly, okay, I think it's farther down here where it's super, super steep. It's kind of a bit of a mirror of the last point. In that this side is now the low ground.
Just put your OPs in a very
This
safe
side
spot.
is in the high ground. The strong point is quite a bit more central. But this is definitely going to be very, very interesting. Definitely seems a lot more steep of terrain. You can see where 7th Cav is approaching. So they're getting a garrison here.
Charlie's gonna handle the south again.
Right in Esselwig Junction. Actually, not too familiar with this
Also,
point
can you guys
here.
see my defend and attack marks?
This would be one that's pretty hard to destroy. If you're going for that strategy, you'd have to angle a rocket in. It's too far for a satchel. Should have been concentrating on the battle. SOF seems like we got pretty good control. We'll take a look on the map. Okay, point is a little more over here. We definitely have a lot more concentrated presence. I don't know where most of their enemy is. Most of the enemy is. They might have just gone slaughtered. Looks like they have their truck pretty deep in. No one on the northern flank. Plenty of people on the southern flank. Almost as many people.
Hey, can we have one of you squads to move to the middle?
Since the point is much more central, a lot of this flank is still in the point. Actually, I'm not even. As long as you're kind of on this side, you're in the sector. So much more of this flank is contributing to that cap weight. As you can see, we are kind of. No one's really taking control of it. We have the advantage right now. Or we're pulling back the cap. We have people within the point. Although this kid is coming in. I don't think Block of Paper sees him. I think he took down Senior. We're gonna have an engagement in just a second. Oh, they traded. So I think it's almost open. Yeah, it's completely open. No one is in the hard point. You when it's this close for contesting, you kind of need people in that hard point. You need that extra cap weight. We have
Charlie
a
squad, could
great
you guys start
kind of
pushing
line
south?
going. Or at least they have a great
We
line
are south.
going. We only really
Or
have
pushing
the
north,
line
sorry.
going
Gotcha.
up on the south. Kind of flanking them. Do they have an OP here? Yeah, they have
Need
an
more
OP
cap
there.
weight, that's the only reason I'm asking.
So this might still be in the. I think a lot of this is still in the cap sector.
MG
Just
set up
helping
to
us
the
actually
northeast
contest.
of, the point.
But we kind of have a bit of a reverse.
Also, the south
kinda
is
mirrored.
the point. Near the
Down
north.
here, they have more of a presence with a line. Up here, we have more of the presence. But we're starting to contest it. This is a very kind of hilly area. You have huge differences in elevation here. Definitely a lot of interesting engagements are going to happen. You can look down here on the level. If you're down there, you're going to be pretty visible. The high ground is important. It's not as important as it is in real life, but there's just simple geometry, which you have better angles when you're higher up. You can see more. You can see over smaller cover.
2-2 on point.
You can see above them.
On my infantry
Interesting,
mark is where there's some infantry coming from.
We're almost 9 minutes. We're at 9 minutes in, and no one's actually taken the point. This is a very, very back and forth. Looks like they're starting to contest
Alright, the
our
guys to
line
get up or up. I have an
on
issue with the
the
truck.
southern flank.
That's fine, thank you.
Looks like we finally getting concentration on the point, which means that we're going to start to cap it. And then we're going to hold it, which is very, very good. Of course, if they can still take it back, if they contest our cap weight as they're doing now.
Roy,
such as
or
how we
Proxy,
have
they're behind you
hold
on
it
that
doesn't
pink
necessarily
road
mean it's safe.
to the north.
But
I got him.
it definitely gives you advantages because you have to be holding at the end.
Also, hold your OP lit up.
If you've capped it, it puts the pressure on them to beat your cap weight.
Thank you.
Your OP just died, Holt.
Yeah, I just put.
They're pushing south.
Yeah, my OP's getting attacked pretty hard. We're still gonna
Near
try
my
to hold
able
this center
mark.
point, though.
Yeah, try to have some of you guys push down to the point where you need cap weight. We're 1 to 2 on point right now.
So they're starting to control
MG near my
the-
able mark.
Actually, I can't tell who's in control right now in terms of cap weight. They're starting to cap again.
Roar,
They have
see if you can't flank
Large
around them any
concentration
further south.
at the point.
Go
We
south
don't
of them
have
and cut back
we don't
north
have
on
the
them.
southern flank. They
South of us as
they
well.
seem to be dominating
okay.
it.
Don't let them.
They got an MG set up. That one, they're standing up, so they're a little more visible, but it can be very, very devastating to
Alpha,
be
I think there's some guys
pushing
to the west
uphill.
of you behind you.
Yeah. There's some
Against
guys
an
north of us
MG.
as well.
I've got a hard flanks going on us.
So naturally, they're going to have more vision. But, Sound Cav is capping. They definitely have more control in the center area. We're kind of really pushed out.
Dog
very
squad, you
spread
might be
out.
able to flank down north.
They're
Yeah, we
hoping
need to get a line
to
set up again and
flank.
push for pretty much.
From
Yeah,
from
they
south
found my
and pushing
OP.
north.
Garrison.
They surrounded it.
I don't think that we really have the forces for that. We definitely have to move people around because they have a very large concentration up there. You're running into a good chunk of their forces. Probably, I'd say the best avenue of attack is honestly down this road. Because they got a lot to the north of it, a lot to the south of it, but not a lot right along that road. So, of course, very, very risky
Hey, when they take flak picks, we're gonna lose all our
They
OPs. Don't forget.
as they collapse on it. They are starting to spread a little more. So we could even try going along this kind of meadow here. This clearing, I guess. That clearing actually gives you a pretty good avenue to the trench line there. Which wouldn't be bad if you could sneak some people in. Of course, I think any push down there has to be. You have to be kind of stealthy. Because when you're pushing, if they control kind of both areas on either side of your push, and they notice you, they can easily collapse on you. So it's very, very risky. You see over here, Proxy and Holt squads are trying to push
I'm gonna try and
uphill.
flank the guys that are on the south side of Black
It's
Ditch
an uphill
from further
battle for
south.
them.
Okay.
very confused. These two. How close are they? What's that?
All right, what's the game plan, guys?
Couple meters.
When
I'm getting an OP up. I'm getting an OP up on 400. I'm gonna push north from there. So
That
we
was-
can
that
push the
was,
guys out from the south
An
side.
interesting
and then they-
episode.
Copy
Yeah,
that.
good-
I'm gonna
good
take
idea.
Baker. We're gonna.
We do have very much control of the southern flank.
Alright,
There's not
I'm gonna
really
take
any
Baker
enemy
straight in.
presence.
Proxy, if you wanna hold the
See
northern
how
end
far
copy.
does that let us push? We can push all the way along the south to kind of this clearing here to flank them. I wonder if we're gonna do that. One thing about this being so steep, though, is if you're on the high ground, you have to be very close to that edge to actually see them, because you can get very much hidden by the terrain. Looks like they have some of their forces coming, but we could get OP here and kind of wrap around. So obviously they have a very, very light defense behind them, because no one's coming from behind. So as long as we can keep
North
kind
looks
of
pretty light.
our main front,
Anybody north is more closer to the point.
we could potentially get a flank back here.
Proxy.
There's
I'm gonna go,
There's
like,
definitely a
wide
lot of
around.
opportunity for that.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm
but
gonna
that's
get an
very
OP up back
contingent
here
on
and then
having
try
the
to
main
go around
front.
all the way around him.
Because if
Copy
you
that. I'll run
the
distraction
flank
as
has
best we
to be
can
the
with
second
Baker.
front. If you don't have the second front, it's not a flank. That's just where you're attacking from. Now, something we learned from the last 18v18 versus 7 Cav. We'll see if we can actually get something here. Is Proxy going to establish an OP? It is pretty concealed behind this hill, so it actually wouldn't be a bad location getting down here. We can check the map. Okay, we have it here. We could push farther back, but as I've said before, deeper flanks take longer to pay off. They can be potentially safer. It's hard to say if this is really that much safer because they have a garrison there and they can push down. If they figured out where you're coming from. As you can see, there's no resistance here. Okay, there's one guy. But we'll see if he even bothers to come back. If you're on, we have a full squad here. So they have an OP back here. Yeah. If they could even take that out, now that they have no line back here, they're taking out
Our
guy that
Gary's down
spawns
south.
there. If we can take out that OP, we'll actually get a vision on that. If I can find where this OP was. It's right there. Proxy's right nearby. It's burnt. Now if they want to manage this flank,
I got an
Okay,
OP
to
to the
spawn
north. They're gonna know we're flanking now.
We're just
back
destroying them
here.
to the south.
we'll see if we can take out Surgeon Gross before he gets. Oh, he already got his new OP down. So it's another challenge to get back up. But if we can establish this flank, it could be very, very potentially good. Because as you can see, they kind of have this flank to line against.
Could one of you guys work on trying to get a
Is this line
carry
going
back
like
up.
this? Deal with our flank on this
whoever's
side.
closest?
So if we can,
Copy
We're
that.
down to one.
we have a thin
we're down
line
to one garrison
like that.
right now.
It's very much against stopping a flank. There's no opportunity to get around it, but of course you're very spread out. So if you can get around, attack from both sides, it's very hard to watch both sides if you're spread out. if you're attacking straight along the line, then it's just kind of one after another. But it looks like they are
My
dealing
infantry
with
mark
the
is
flank.
accurate.
They
Charlie
do
infantry
have
mark.
this garrison there. It's going to be tough. I don't think we're really prepared to take out that garrison. It's not really a strategy we've been
We've got
using.
10 minutes, guys.
If we could take out that garrison, that would be, we basically would have this flank, because they would have to go back, reestablish that, just to get behind it. They'd have to
And
be
we're
coming from
briefly
the
contesting
main
on
point,
flag pits. It might be
um,
worth just fucking falling
or
down.
wherever
I think
they
they're
have
committing
their
too much to their
northern,
flanks.
I guess southern gear. I don't know where it is. We might see if they have any footage. But it's definitely going to be at least 200 meters away from me. But speaking actually of the point, it looks like they're getting pretty thinned out. We're actually starting to cap. They don't actually have anyone in the hard point. While that flank hasn't gotten us fully to the point, it seems to have drawn away enough of their forces. It's definitely a pain in the backside, their backside, which is allowing Wander and Holt's squad to actually get within the point. They're starting to collapse on it, mainly from the southern flank, where we don't really have a presence, so they can kind of move away from there. But at the same time, Proxy Squad is moving up. So we may very much might get a line going like west to east, east to west, just to deal with this flank and Wander squad. You can see it's kind of a bloodbath. And the 40 is brutal. We can see what's kind of happening here. If you get into that trench line, it's very easy to push along because you don't have to worry around the sides. Got an OP right there. Oh, that's great. Got a satchel blown off there, or that could have been their satchel. But about trench lines, when you're pushing, you're really only focusing on one. You have cover on both sides.
But I cleared them
And
off the
kind
point.
of just get tunnel vision in a good way. And, well, not a good way. You're just not going to get punished for it. This is a prime instance to get some mines down because those are allowed in this mode. I think definitely the best strategy for mining, if we're going to utilize that in this rule set, is once you cap up a point, you place them down. They just got destroyed there because they had mines.
Alright,
while
make
they
sure you
were
guys watch their
controlling the
feet. They're
point,
doing the
because
same
as
thing they
soon
did last.
as-
There's a bunch of
As
mines.
soon as you
Aurora, I got their
have those mines down,
I got their OP.
if
that
they
was
push
pushing me up.
in, they're gonna
Yeah.
get blown up by that, giving you enough time to slow down their attack or to give you time to react.
Collapse on the point. I lost my OP.
If they can't get their OP
Dog's
down,
OP is just outside the point. You can walk right into it.
Yep, I
kill
told him to.
their squad leader with a mine.
Beggar's OP is pretty close as well.
That's huge. You've kind of fully stopped that push.
Draken's trying to go help you over there, Aurora.
It's not really what's happening here, because we already have good OP there. We're not trying to move that up. But it slows down the push. Mines are great because it allows you to kill them without having to actually have someone there waiting for them. They're kind of set and forget.
I'm gonna take this time. Well, never mind. We don't need another garrison. We just need to capture the fucking point.
Yep, that's why
so-
I stopped running down there.
If we're smart about this, we'll get mines down, as soon as we start to cap this and burn their OPs.
Proxy the ledge above you.
Looks like they don't have a southern flank because we were able to get to the point.
Alright,
They
all
kind
their
of have to
spawns are
collapse.
gone.
They had
Aurora,
to collapse
push
on
up,
it.
keep
They
pushing up.
can't afford
fall
to
down
manage
onto the
people
rocks.
up
Yep.
there. But they are starting to push on us.
Nice
we have
job,
to
everybody.
establish something, or else they're going to push back on us.
I'm gonna take Baker, try to hold the eastern edge of the point.
We'll see if they get their OPs
Push
back
out
up.
from the point.
We did just flip the map.
That's the goal.
Squad. If you can kill a squadier before they get a new OP up, that's
OP
a whole
supposedly
new
went down
squad
the
that's
smoke.
going to have to come all the way back. See Sergeant Smith here on the flank. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But we have a great presence on the point.
One of my guys
we have a
reporting
bit
they might have an
to
OP near Baker
the
Ping.
southern flank. They do have a lot of people there. You got Bizkit.
Copy. Have a couple of the
Coming
guys from
down.
your guys' squad fall back into mine.
He is just an
so I can hold the
anti-tank,
north end.
so he's not going to get a OP back there. We have a full squad over here. We have quite a presence on the point. Because this is like the high ground right next to the point, it's very important to control this section here, just because if they're pushing into the point, and you're up there, you can lob nades down easily, and they can't really respond because nades, you don't need line of sight. They're affected by
Our carries are going down, guys.
they're gonna have a much steeper trajectory, and vice versa. If you're down there and they're up there, they can lob nades down and not be punished for it. This is kind of interesting because there's not much cover when you're approaching from the German side. It's just kind of roads. If you had a tank, that would be great to let you push up. But there's no tanks in this boat. So we kind of have the advantage with these
Abel's
trenches.
going to fall back.
That can be our stronghold.
Somebody's
Oh,
going to have to
just
watch
went
the
down.
north again.
But
Copy that.
if we want to hold farther up here, we don't really have the same options. We have like this here. We kind of lost that little high ground area.
Killed 2.
We'll see if we can get it back up.
Charlie, they're more north of you.
Looks like this is probably, yeah, Sergeant Smith's squad. You remember him flanking. They have an OP. That's gonna have to draw our forces away. I'm not sure if it's always worth it to go that deep to burn that OP.
They've got at least an OP behind us to the northwest.
Burning the OP is, of course, very, very important. It's a very good thing to do. But they are pretty far away, and you're diverting the forces.
They have an
from one
MG near your Charlie mark, or Charlie
So
defend mark.
it's a hard
Just
decision
firing
to
down on
make.
us. Definitely south of us.
It depends how quickly you can burn it, and how easily you can.
There's a
defend
lot of
from
enemies on
farther
my
back.
infantry mark.
But right now, what we have to worry about is the south flank. They got an MG up here on the
Final
high
2 minutes.
ground.
Final 2 minutes.
Final 2 minutes. It's like right in the ground. That is brutal.
They're flowing over the hill on the
I
east side
don't
of the
know
point.
if that's allowed. In this
MG near
rule
my
set,
able mark.
is it allowed to have like an MG who's like partly in the ground and they're lying prone?
I mean, is it on purpose?
I mean, I don't know if they could see that they're partly in the ground.
Yeah, I don't think the user actually knows he's in the ground.
Coming
So I
from the
think
south.
that's fine. I'm not gonna
Yep,
stress
I'm
about
trying
that.
to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, he got killed. He moved up and got killed anyway, so I don't think it's a huge deal.
Heard.
I think probably if he wasn't trying to exploit it, he wouldn't have moved up.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're chilling.
But we are in the final minute. We're kind of getting very, very concentrated around the point. but when you have 40 seconds left, you don't really need to have a flank people up here, because if they establish a flank here, by the time they get to the point, the game's going to be over. We just need to collapse on the point we need to hold. This is
Yeah,
a
my
more
OP went
fair.
down. I'm gonna have to get another one
You
out.
don't have to try and cap the next point.
Watch north
You can
and
just
south.
hold. You just hold the midpoint, especially when it's right at the end. You just hold.
All right, just be ready. This is gonna be a real fucking close one.
Hey, we're almost over. It's almost over.
Yeah, this has been really back and forth.
No cap, no cap. That's index.
Index,
Index, hard index.
index.
Nice.
So I guess no tiebreaker because we won. SOF won both rounds.
I believe so. I'm confirming. I'm pretty sure that's the case though. Yep, that's it.
All right, it's been
That's
2 good matches.
yeah, absolutely. That was some hard fought shit right there.
Yeah, especially since no one had the point 9 minutes in.
It was a long one. Yeah.
Every time I've played that point in like a competitive setting, that's usually how that plays out. So that did not surprise me. It's usually like who makes the first mistake is who winds up paying the price for that.
Yeah, I was
that
worried
was
we were gonna get a little overextended there, but
Yeah, that first round, I think if 7th Cav had a much stronger push when you guys like fully extended away from the point, that may have flipped.
yeah, we had a very good line going, so it's very hard for you guys to push against us.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But you guys did get around us. You had a deep flank that paid off. It didn't pay off enough to get you the win, but you guys were contesting there, so.
What's up,
These ones.
boys? Warren, if you want to drop down there and just let them know that, or I'm gonna debrief. Actually, hold on a second, gents. Y'all stay here. I will be right back.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm gonna grab another beer. I'll be right back as well.
Yeah, me too.
Man's got a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, this guy, he knows what's important.
Exactly, priorities. I appreciate that.
I was really confused because I thought it was a bunch of 7 Cav guys joining, and then I heard a familiar voice.
Yep. Where's
Hey.
they at?
I'm not gonna be able to stay too long. I just realized it's all of us. There's none of them over here.